Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horrific review. Steve and I are back as we continue our look into the Hammer horror series with Dracula, Prince of Darkness. 10 years after his demise, Count Dracula is resurrected by his servant and preys on four unsuspecting English tourists who have taken shelter in his castle. This film was made on a budget of £100,000 and brought in $2,345,000 from the box office and from rentals. How to get that and from rentals? It was really important to put that in, apparently.
Yeah, it still wasn't a bad return, was it?
I think if you put that amount of money in and make that back, I think you're doing all right.
Yeah. It's that was a very good return on that, especially since they had to pay the actors and production team, and I think by this moment in time, the director and the writer must have been on quite good salaries, because they were being used over and over again, weren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've been looking quite well. We're back to no Peter Cushing this time, but we're back with Terence Fisher and Christopher Lee, so we're almost there. Back to the classics. It's amazing how those two are known, like synonymous with Hammer horror, yet they haven't really appeared in that many of the Hammer movies. No, we're going through them all.
Yeah, it is strange because the first thing you think of now when you see a Hammer horror is Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing.
Yeah,
and even down as far as directed by Terence Fisher, we've been expecting it.
Yeah,
to be directed by Terence Fisher.
And actually, the percentages, like I think at the end we'll go through this and we'll sort of do percentages of how often he's appeared and most. And I think we'll actually be quite surprised that he's not appeared that much.
No, but if you look on Peter Cushing's filmography, he does some for other studios as well. And I'm wondering if the reason why he didn't appear in this one is he had other commitments, because he is doing horror films for other studios.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
This was 1966, wasn't it?
Was it? Yeah, 66. Yeah.
Movies, let's go. Boom. 1960. 1959. He was doing Daleks Invasion Earth.
Yeah.
Doctor Who's. He was doing Doctor Terror's House of Horror, so he was doing Amicus.
Yeah.
God, these aren't in chronological order. That's bloody annoying. Torture. He was working for Amicus, 1965, 1967. Island of Terror.
Island of Terror, yeah. Daleks Invasion Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Island of Terror. Who's that by? Missy Bonus Corpse. Oh, Terence Fisher directed that. So Terence Fisher nabbed him for Island of Terror. I don't think that was a Hammer movie.
I don't think so.
Well, it's a British movie, but it's not. Writers, box office, and IMDb.
Planet Film.
I'm not paying you to find out who the studio was.
It's someone called Planet Film Productions. Whoever they were.
All right, there you go. So yeah, Peter Cushing was busy apparently.
Yeah.
Amicus nabbed him for 2 movies in that year.
Yeah.
And he was working with Terence Fisher on another project for a different studio.
Yeah, because there was another film with Planet Film Studios called Night of the Big Heat with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing in. That was 1967.
What was it again? Planet?
Night of the Big Heat.
No. What's the name of the studio company?
Planet something studios. Planet Film Productions.
Films produced by Planet. This could be another rabbit hole. I'm just saying.
Could be a tax dodge. Could be
Terror.
or horror films.
Movies? Movies for it.
It didn't really do a lot.
Terror, Night of the Big Hate, Devils of Darkness, The Break, and The Mark one, which looks more like a adventure series. Let's hope at that. Becomes a target. No, it's a like a spy thriller sort of. The Break. Let's have a look at that. Perfect Crime, another mystery. Devils of Darkness has to be a horror movie. Secret vampire cult, which has its headquarters beneath the town cemetery, searching for victims for its human sacrifice rituals. Ooh. Right, so we've got 2 movies on. Once we'll finally finish Hammer Horror, because I think we're going to be a bit lost. Let's be honest. In 31 movies' time,
Yeah.
we're going to be a bit. What do we do now? I'm confused.
Yeah.
Devils of Darkness. Never even heard of that.
No, I've never heard of that one. I've
Night
never heard of Night of the Big Heat either.
Mainland Britain shivers in deepest winter. In Northern Ireland, the fire bakes in the 90s. And the boys of the Met Station have more idea what's going on. The regulars just want. Bit of a Christopher Lee's in that one.
Yeah, Night of the Big Heat.
Yeah, Christopher. So there's 2. Who directed that? Terence Fisher.
Yeah.
Sci-fi. Oh, there you go. So yeah. Yeah, I think we just found a couple more for the list.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
another one I came across. Another production company I found Peter Cushing does something for, and I can't remember what it was. Yeah. But you know, if they're working for different studios, there's a chance they're going to say, "Oh, sorry, I'm busy." You know.
Well, he did 3 movies in 1966. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just wants me to call him his countship.
I got some of that. I got some of that religious glue here. Crucifix.
They don't get any better, Steve.
No, you have to watch it because someone will get cross.
Now he gets a half a drum. But here we are. This is the one that has, out of Hammer Horror, this is the one that stuck with me through childhood for some reason. And I think Cove is more imposing in this than Dracula.
Yeah.
He has a thing about him that he was more of a character. He did more. He was actually more calculated, where not Christopher Lee's best performance.
I didn't find he was in, especially in the first sort of 2/3 of it. He wasn't really in it, was he?
No.
It was just a quick show. You know, it was only like the last bit of the film that you actually saw him in, and then it wasn't.
Never had a line of dialogue.
No, he just hissed, didn't he?
Yeah, and it's like in the first Dracula movie, he had dialogue. He was the master. He, you know.
Yeah, he was the gentleman who brought people in, wasn't he?
Unless they've denigrated him to just some sort of, I don't know what. I thought he couldn't be arsed and taste the blood of Dracula when we get that one. Like, he really didn't care.
Yeah.
He'd had enough. Like, they just enticed him back with stupid amounts of money to get him to do it. But he was not in the mood, and you could tell. But this, you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I think they concentrated on the other characters, didn't they?
They concentrated on the build-up more than actually the delivery.
Like the father, the vicar, Clove, And even really Ludwig.
Even Ludwig, discount bargain basement Renfield.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He was still eating insects, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, yeah, he did all the things.
How could they eat
Oh, I'm
some?
getting feedback. I'm getting feedback
Of me.
of me. Yeah.
Try that.
Yeah. 1 2
Is
1
that better?
2. Yeah, it's better. Yeah, it sort of bouncing back there, and it's like if I'm hearing it, then it's up multiplying 10 times over the stream. Yeah, we'll start off with the most unconvincing corpse ever.
Yeah. She was breathing.
Breathing, turning her head, and like not even subtly. Do you know why we just caught the glimpse in the original Dracula, the first one?
Yeah.
And she just breathed a bit. This one was like moving her head and everything, and even when the mother was like, she moved her head towards you, like smiling and stuff, and you're like,
it was like when he was about to put the stake in. It was like in real life she was pooing her pants. It's like, oh, it's gonna stake me. Don't do it for real, please.
and everything. It was was that a favor? Was that somebody's daughter or sister or niece or something that basically got a favor? I want her to be in a horror movie, you know, or a Hammer movie. All right.
Or we haven't got anyone to play with that. Yeah, my daughter will do it. Oh, all right. Is she an actor? Yeah. No, she works in Tesco's.
Yeah, but it's all right. She just has to lie there, just not move very much. Just couldn't even do that. But they're carrying her about broad daylight, and the whole point is to show that the 10 years after Dracula's death, that the village is still terrified and still superstitious. That they didn't seem to mind when he was actually about.
No.
He didn't really affect anybody when he was alive.
You know, well, there's a vampire in the village. He's killing everyone. Yeah, I won't move though. I'll stay here.
Yeah.
It would be like having bloody Yorkshire Ripper as a lodger, wouldn't it? You know he's a Yorkshire Ripper, but yeah, he can stay, nice boy.
Yeah. It's just like, what are you doing? And then we get the recycled shot of the sawmill, Frankenstein's workshop.
Yeah.
This is the third movie now. They've used that same oil painting. The same pass up the mountain.
It is a mountain. It is a picture, isn't it? It's a painting.
Yeah, it's a painting.
You can see it's not real.
But it's the same one.
I'm
gonna have to go back now and just copy and paste from, and just show everybody that it's actually from the same bloody movie, because it's
bring up all the photos and all pictures.
It's not like made it up, but it's really just in your face. It's like thinking
and the castle is not the same castle.
No,
the Dracula films. It's changed. So
I'll say one thing: they're a bit more respectful.
Yeah.
They weren't respectful to Frankenstein's castle.
Oh no.
And the chateau, they tore it to bits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Flipping Dracula's castle is gleaming.
Yeah, it was quite smart, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
We'll get that whole scene with the girl and the discount Friar Tuck turns up as well. They admonish the other priests because his church is better than your church, sort of.
It was a case of, you can't do that. Oh, okay, we won't then. I mean, why didn't they just say, "Who are you?" On your bike.
I don't know about the pecking order, but are monks higher than the priests? If he's coming from he's coming from the monastery, so he's higher up the pecking order?
Yeah. Yeah. But there were villagers there who probably wouldn't have known that, or unless they actually knew, who he was really. If they knew, like, there was a monastery in.
Was it 25
kilometers? They all looked at him as if to say, "Who are you?" And and when he says, "You can't do that," okay, no problem, we won't do that. apart from the vicar, the priest bloke, who wanted to. He's a bit sadistic, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he
But
never
I
appeared
want to
again
kill
after
her.
that.
I want to kill her. Oh, why
Yeah,
can't I use the
he didn't hang
stake?
about when it came to the actual fight, did he?
No.
He never seen again after
Oh,
that.
cracking.
And then we get the end, and I just love the way this Count Friar Tuck comes in, and he's all like blustery and stuff and that, and he just goes, "Oh, I hear English accents." It's like, yeah, mate, we all hear English accents. There's nothing but English accents. What are you talking about? English accents in the Carpathians?
Transylvania. Oh, God.
What, Transylvania Peckham or something, for flip's sake?
Yeah.
Oh my word, that was funny. They're not even pretending at this point. Do you remember that brief moment? Was it Dr. Jekyll? They all pretended to put on French accents for like the briefest of moments, then they all gave up
Yeah.
like after the
Yeah,
first
it
death.
went French, English, Irish,
Yeah.
didn't it? It went through them
Couldn't
all.
make up their
Scottish,
minds.
that Scottish lab, isn't it?
Yeah. And then they just give up about halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, nah, we're not doing that again. That's a bit like me trying to do accents. I've got a very strong one, so I'll just
Mine's
keep
terrible because I've got the Devonshire accent. I joke around. I when I'm got the radio on or the MP4s like and the songs come up, I start singing in the Devonshire accent. And hello, is it me you're looking for?
You've picked up a bit of a Welsh twang.
Yeah, it's getting there. Last time I lived in Wales, I did. I picked up a bit of an accent, but gradually. I think it's when you speak to loads of people, and I suppose if I went to Northern Ireland, I'd start going, "Oh, it's Dracula, so it is."
Yeah. The problem is, if you're Northern Irish, it's illegal for you to change your accent.
Yeah.
It's actually a crime. You're considered a sellout. So that's it. Just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're back to form. We've got the look, we've got the aesthetic, we've got the build-up, we've got a bit of the silliness. I mean, we're back to proper Hammer movies.
Yeah, and you've got something with a bit of a storyline and a bit of a side storyline.
Yeah, and we're gonna recap this time.
Yeah, so it's a follow-on. So, yeah, because if you couldn't remember the previous Dracula film, you see the recap and you think, oh yeah, I saw that one. Did they do that though? Because it was so long ago that the previous one was.
I think there's two reasons. I have a bit of a thought on this. So yeah, obviously, home VHS wasn't even invented.
No.
It wouldn't have been on terrestrial TV because there's like one channel at that point. And also, I think they subtly retconned Brides of Dracula and erased that movie from existence.
Yeah.
And it meant this film doesn't exist anymore. Here's the sequel.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the real one.
Yeah.
A
Kiss
bit
of the
like
Vampires
Halloween,
okay,
isn't
because
it?
that's not a Dracula movie, but Brides of Dracula.
Halloween 1, 2, 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a bad thing, actually. God, that movie's terrible. It doesn't
8 more
age
days
well.
to Halloween, Halloween, Halloween.
That's the only good bit. And
Shamrock.
the testing ground.
You remember the bloody song?
Yeah. It's nearly time.
That's right. Yeah, noise.
Yeah. No, the only two good scenes is in the actual testing facility with the family and the bit at the end. And that's it. Because the rest of the movie is absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold up well. But back to this one. So we've got our 4 English gentry. And already Helen's a bit of a sour-faced trout.
Oh, why is he buying those drinks? Shouldn't be buying those drinks.
Love, it's your brother-in-law. Is it your money? No, shut
Not your
up.
money, bugger off. He
Is he
wants to buy it.
destitute? No. And yeah, shut up.
Yeah.
But also, they're on a walking holiday and they're dressed like they're going to the like
Yeah.
Savile
They,
Row or something.
they had a plan and they had to stick to the plan, didn't they? When the priest says, or father, what's his name, says, "Oh, no, don't go to there. Come over to climb, was it something like
Cardstag.
that?" No, that's the one he wanted to keep away from, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, they were heading to Cardstag. They were going to go to the
Yeah,
castle. He said, "No, come over to the monastery or what."
yeah. And no, can't do that. No, we've got a plan.
But they are not. They have nothing for walking. Like
No.
it does not. It looks like they're going for a night in the town.
But you know when the carriage dropped them off and said, "I'm
Mm.
not going any further." If you notice, Carthage was only 2 kilometers,
Yeah,
which is just over a mile, but they couldn't possibly do that.
on a
Oh,
walking holiday.
yeah, on a walking holiday. Oh, we'll sleep in that hut. That's, there's a hut there. There just had to be a hut at a crossroads, didn't it?
Mm.
Where else would you get a woodcutter's hut? But somewhere where they really needed one. But
I know in the Lake District they've built loads of little shelters. So what part of the hills have actually got shelters, and then they've got like a take one, leave one sort of thing. So they've you can put rations there if you leave
yeah,
something, but it's basically just in case you get stuck and
yeah.
the weather picks up, you can go and not have to worry about your tents.
Yeah. But would you really get into a carriage without no driver? I mean, was he like experienced at riding a carriage? And
He thought he was, but
yeah, and the bloody horses took him where they wanted.
yeah, they were just acting like pit ponies. It wasn't supernatural. I mean, the horses were trained to do this.
Yeah, cracking.
Which is a lot of effort.
But I would have gone up to the castle and said, "You bastards, fancy bringing me here? I'm going back." And then, as soon as you saw Clove, I would have gone, "Oh, no. I'm off. I'm going here."
Yeah.
I'm not staying with him.
I don't understand. This is where they're trying to be a bit too dramatic. Cove should have just met them at the door.
Yeah. Yeah, because they were there quite a while searching the house, weren't they?
Yeah.
You don't even search people's houses, do you, like that?
Especially all the candles are lit, dinner tables lit. You don't just go knocking about the place. That's rude.
No. Yeah. Oh, our bags are in the bedrooms. Yeah.
But he could have done that afterwards.
Yeah.
I think they were trying too hard. This is where the movie kind of falls apart. Is they were trying too hard with the drama and suspense and the build up of Cove's character. We're not here to watch Cove. We're here to see Dracula.
Yeah.
We're here to see Christopher Lee as Dracula.
Where he wasn't really there, was he? In the first 2/3 of the film, you didn't really.
He's not there.
He just appeared for 2 seconds at a time. But,
I felt cheated, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because that's not what you're watching a Christopher Lee Dracula movie for. It's like, what are you doing?
But in the previous film, he was like burnt by the sunlight, and all his ashes they blew away. So how did Clove have a box of his ashes?
I don't know. And there's bound to have got, if he's went with a pan and brush, he's bound to have got other bits in there too.
Yeah, but who was he? I mean, was he? How did he know if he wasn't there that it was Dracula's ashes?
They tried this is what they're trying to fill in. They're trying to fill in the blanks from the first movie because they're trying to say that Dracula was terrorizing the town and it was a vampire cult and he, ruled it. But obviously because of budget limitations, etc., we didn't see any of that. We just saw Dracula in his house.
The
in his castle. He didn't really interact, or the villagers, let's be honest, didn't really know anything about him.
the father said there was a cult, and he said there was thousands of them. Well, we've only seen
Are they
Dracula
trying to?
and one or two more.
Is this is this a subtle hint to say that Kiss of the Vampire is still canon,
Yeah,
but Brides of Dracula will just forget about that one?
yeah,
I honestly think they were trying to subtly say, right, Kiss of the Vampire was the continuation of the cult, and it got destroyed.
yeah.
Now we've got, and they maybe we're just so used to today where they use the same actor, everything's a franchise, where the idea of a franchise wasn't really in existence.
Oh, yeah.
The
They
actual
wouldn't think
concept of a franchise wasn't there. They're trying to do continuity, but they haven't quite grasped the
wouldn't be
idea.
a case of wouldn't have been a case of, oh, let's do a trilogy, and we got these 3 films up front. It just Dracula, and then further down the line they go, oh, should we do another Dracula film?
Yeah, because it wasn't really until like the 80s was the birth of the sequel.
Yeah,
It was the 80s was the birth of let's do another one, let's do another one, let's do another one.
yeah.
And I don't know, the 90s, would that be no, I'd say early 2000s, like the Final Destination and so forth, was the birth of the franchise, of the
Mm,
interlocking like series of movies, but it's all
yeah.
one narrative.
Mm,
But yeah, back in the 60s, I think it was as an alien concept. They were just going movie by movie. It happened to be the same production house, but
mm.
nobody had that. It just
No one
cinema's
had
still quite
no
new.
one had the feeling of
Hmm.
or the outcome
What's
of let's do another one, let's do another one. At the same time.
what's
Oh,
cinema?
that one was good. Let's do another one immediately, which is what happens in current day, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
but it's
um,
completely different landscape. If you think what cinema is maybe 30 years old at this point,
hmm,
and it's only just moved out of silent pictures, and it's only just embracing like not every movie is color
no,
and is
the
technicolor, so it's
the
still being shot in black and white, and it's the technology of technicolor, so it's a post production
hmm,
effort to make, and it's a special uh thing, extra cost to make a film color.
yeah,
So cinema in the scheme of things is still a new medium at this time. So they're just glad, I think, to make movies.
yeah, and it looks like they're glad to get the actors, isn't it? So, because who if they were going to make this movie and they didn't have Christopher Lee as Dracula, who would they have got? Because he's
Well,
been
they tried it
Dracula.
with the bride. They got what's his face for Brides of Dracula, and that was terrible.
Oh, that was awful.
And then they had your guy as the lead vampire cult leader
Hmm.
for Kiss of the Vampire. And it's like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? This is you're not. I'm not buying what you're selling to me.
They just as well have got that count out of Sesame Street, isn't it?
They may as
I
well. They
love
would have
the
got a
count.
better job.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. I think they're still finding their way. It's easy to we could sneer and look at it and pick it apart, but at the same time, understand the time this is happening. And they're being braver back then than they are today. Today's just sludge and rinse and repeat and remake,
Yeah,
requel, prequel, reboot, rehash. It's crap.
yeah. They're just. It's like you said. They haven't got any new ideas. It's all the same stuff, isn't it?
Hmm.
Or oh, let's do a reboot of Halloween. Let's do a reboot of
Everything.
Friday the 13th. Let's have another Final Destination film, and you know what's going
Gremlins
to
3's coming
happen.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're like, really?
Some of the Final Destination is supposed to be something they're
Um,
falling or something, isn't it?
Bloodlines.
Yeah. But,
So I
yeah.
think they're going to they're going to do a Saw type thing and tie it all together,
Yeah.
and that it was everybody's connected, which
Thing is,
I am not a
Tony
fan of.
Todd's gone, isn't he?
But they managed to film his scenes.
Oh, right.
They managed to film his scenes before he passed, so
Yeah.
he'll be in this movie.
He was scary.
He's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's what, like I said, I'll always hate Jordan Peele because he did him dirty with
Yeah.
the Candyman sequel thing.
Yeah.
He did that man dirty, and there was no call for it. He made an absolute laughing stock out of him.
Did this movie introduce anything to the overall vampire? I'm always interested where certain aspects originated from.
No, it was basically just oh, there's Fleon as well. Hey man.
Don't know who that is.
We're on every other Sunday discussing anime. I know it's probably not your bag, but yeah, we'll have a lot of fun. There's a lot of dark anime stuff, which is great.
I don't think it did add anything.
It's
I think it was
stole from Bram Stoker's Dracula, and
it was a different story.
Mm.
And yeah, and a couple of different characters trying to kill him. I think I thought it was quite funny because the monk was after him, wasn't he, all the time, and then right at the end, he more or less said, "Yeah, you go on that ice and kill him."
Yeah,
I'll stay up here. I'll look after the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even when I was, I remember when like I said, I watched this as a kid, and when I saw Clove, I always thought he was Renfield. I thought it was Renfield was there, and it was him that was keeping Dracula's castle alive. But it's a bit strange that 10 years later, that's when he decides to resurrect him.
Yeah.
And there's no ritual performed, really.
No. And it's like I said, where did he come from? Was it unless he was one of the cult, of who'd come.
And we never saw that in Dracula.
There's a hole there.
Yeah, it was hinted.
Where did he come from?
Massive plot hole. And I think they tried to hint at it, but they just couldn't show it because of limitations.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a strange one, that. But, yeah. And like you said, there was really two Renfields there. There was Clove and Ludwig, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ludwig. So, Ludwig was a joke, just a joke character.
You see Christopher Lee. Yeah. You see Christopher Lee and say we should check this movie out. Very true.
100%. That's why I feel cheated in this. Now that I've watched it again after so long, I actually feel cheated because I was sold a pup. I was sold on a premise and we didn't get enough Christopher Lee.
No.
He didn't even have any lines.
No. And back then you were saying, hey, there's a new Christopher Lee movie out, just as you would have these days. The youngsters go, hey, there's a new superhero Marvel film out or whatever they would like. CGI crap.
Like, that's all I had to know was Christopher Lee or Peter Cushing was in it, and I was sold.
Yeah.
And even today, like they're so watchable, aren't they?
Like we said, without Peter Cushing, it's still done well. 2 million.
Yeah.
I do not think I've seen this movie. No. I have a long time ago.
Yeah, it's one of my more memorable ones. Like I said, I've watched it as a kid multiple times. It's amazing though when you go back through the reviewers' lens and you start picking, sort of looking at it, and you're like, oh, right.
Because it's like I've said many times. I used to watch Hammer House of Horror and Triple Bill on a Saturday night on BBC Two, or Double Bill or Triple Bill, one of the two. They used to alternate, and you watch the films and you think, yeah, they're brilliant. Yeah, then when you come to review them like this, you think, Well, there are a few hoes there.
Yeah.
But back then in the 70s when they used to do it, it was scary stuff. It
It
was
was groundbreaking.
yeah. Um,
But one of the funny scenes was this when Clove was the. So basically, they arrived at Castle, all their stuff's unpacked. Clove says that he's been bidden by his master to always welcome new guests.
yeah.
I'd say Peter Cushing, because he has morphed into. We see him in Amicus, you see him in different things. He morphs into the role. So Christopher Lee's always stuck as the aristocratic gentleman.
Yeah.
And the same sort of imposing, figure. The only film he really stretched himself was The Two Faces of Dr. Jekyll. And he's even, turns out, has said that himself, that it's the most fun he had in the role because he's playing a completely different character. But every other role, Christopher Lee is the same. Now, it's like, I don't know, you go to see a Tom Cruise movie because you just want to see Tom Cruise go about. You go to see Samuel L. Jackson because you want to see Samuel L. Jackson. They never change. What's his face? Ryan Reynolds is the same. Those, you go to see the actor perform doing what they do, but you don't get anything different. I think Christopher Lee fell into that sort of category. But I argue that Peter Cushing was the better actor because he did morph into different roles and different accents. And
do you know, Chris, while you're on, if Peter Cushing had married Whoopi Goldberg, she would have been called Whoopi Cushing. They probably don't know what a whoopee cushion is in America.
Add some gravy to add the next level.
It's probably called fart bag or something.
Peter Cushing, definitely. He's morphed into so many different roles. That's he's a better actor. Oh dear. This is where we need the hook.
Oh, no.
That's what I'll have to get set up, is the hook.
Yeah. Oh. Well, like this.
This is the real horror Stephen's jokes.
Yeah.
Oh dear man. But yeah, I actually thought Clove was I've said that. I thought he was Renfield originally. I'd actually forgotten about Ludwig because he's just a random character. But there's a bit where they've all been put to bed. He's told he's here to serve his master by being hospitable to guests. And he's carrying this trunk down the stairs.
Yeah.
And there's a bit where it like floats. He's just carrying one hand, it sort of floats. I'm like, did they fill it with helium or what?
Yeah. But did you notice they all had lock bolts on their doors, but they used the locks. I would have put the bolt as well.
Yeah.
And when that Renfield character Ludwig was locked in his cell, if you notice, they had a gold bolt, which was quite modern on his door.
I'd missed that. I was too mesmerized by the fact they give him a hammer and chisel.
Yeah, yeah, but it wasn't one of the old style, 1800s bolts that took ages to rusty type thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was the old brass one that you can buy down B&Q.
Schnick. Here, is Homebase getting into administration?
Who?
Homebase?
Yes, they're and W.H. Smith's in trouble as well.
I just saw a big sign got into administration sale.
Yeah, W.H. Smith are closing all their high street stores, and just keeping the ones gradually keeping the ones in the airports.
All right. They probably make more from food, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Snacks and stuff in the airports than books. But a lot of W.H. Smiths double as post offices.
They're expensive because we used to have a W.H. used to have W.H. Smith right next to Stationery Box in Plymouth, and Parker pen in W.H. Smith £9.95. Exactly the same pen in Stationery Box £4.95. And so where are you going to buy it from?
Yeah.
Anyway,
back to the movie. Tangent.
Yeah.
Tangent number 3 over with.
Yeah. We always go off on a tangent.
It's a requirement now. For every...
Where's Michael Murty based anyway?
I think Michael's American.
Is he?
Yep. And flees from Durham, County Durham.
Yeah. That's where the Pink Panther lives, you know. Durham, 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 Durham.
Why?
East Coast US, Steve. East Coast US. My geography is terrible. Is that like
That's New York, Washington.
Is it? Yeah.
But that's closer to Canada. Yeah. So I think we knew that Alan was in for the chop.
Yeah. He wasn't a strong character to start with, was he? He was just like, he just went along with the flow in the bar, didn't he? And, you know, said to his wife, what's
he's
it got to do? Suffolk, Virginia,
Yeah.
he's from.
I was going to say, no, you have to buy a copy of Paranoia, which is coming out soon.
Oh, the joke's free, Colin.
No, you
buy
have to
my joke book if you want. I've got a joke book. Yeah.
Can you put a link for it in the chat?
Just put it on stephensamuelknight.co.uk/buy. No, it's not on there.
On that. You hide it away. Sneaky
it's,
McSneak.
It's joke book's not on the website.
Why not? Are you so ashamed of it?
No, it's just I can't be serious and I'm trying to be serious on the.
Here we go. Stephen K, who's actually Stephen Knight.
Yeah, that was my stage name when I used to perform in the pubs, clubs, hotels, and was Steve K. So before even Peter K came along, I was there. He was just a piece of sperm when I started.
He was a happy thought in his father's
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. So I think we knew Alan anyway. He was getting it. It was just so telegraphed. He was the one who was going to get out of bed, and he was the one who was going to go exploring.
Yeah. And why would you think, oh yeah, oh, it's a secret thing behind this? Oh no, I'll go down there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Why do they always do that in films? Why do they always go, oh yeah, I'll go down this secret passage that looks dark and gloomy and
well, this is right back to when we did the morality and horror discussion. You weren't part of that one, were you? You were meant to be, but you couldn't make it, I think.
Was it? Yeah.
Jane, Dale, and I think were on it, and somebody else with a couple of people. Maybe you were. I don't know if that was ages ago, but we talked about busy horror. You know, the whole point of horror is to be a warning. You know, don't do these things. And how do you best demonstrate it is by showing people doing silly things. So you go, I'm not going to do that.
And have you noticed that no matter how fast you run in a horror film, if someone's chasing you, the person who's chasing you is walking, always catches up with you.
Well, it's not right back to the Hare and the Tortoise.
Yeah.
But then that's where the whole tripping over nothing, you know, the joke came in because they had to find a contrived way to have the killer catch up. And also back in the old 30mm days, they couldn't capture if you try to move normally with film speed, it doesn't pick it up. So you have to do that really strange, slow, clunky movement because the
Yeah.
camera won't wibble otherwise.
I used to like the sketches, the old black and white sketches where they must have had a treadmill or something like that when it and the guy's legs was going like this and he kept looking back and the person walking behind was still catching him up and he was running like this.
Yeah, and the old projector screen behind him doing his bits.
Yeah. Comedy, they were comedy
Yeah.
films.
But yeah, basically, poor Alan, he gets
chopped up.
He gets chopped up.
Upside down, isn't it? On a
I thought he's got bopped in the head, but he gets stabbed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he stabbed him in the back. But did you notice there wasn't any puncture wound?
No, and there was no blood dripping.
It
So
was
when he was
just
hanging
a
upside down, there was no
little
blood
patch
dripping.
of blood on his back.
Yep, and then a cut to the
Yeah.
scene. It's all gushing down. It went back to the body. The body's bone dry, not a drop.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he finally cuts his neck, doesn't he? And,
Yeah.
And but you don't actually see it, but and all the blood goes down onto these ashes that blew away in the.
didn't Why didn't he perform a ritual?
I don't know.
This would have made sense if he had had a book, a tome of magic spells, and didn't because he could have done this any time. If that's all he had to do was put enough blood in to reawaken him, he could have done that 10 times over. And plus, it seems that the person didn't need to be alive, so could have grieved. You know what I mean? That girl that was getting carried away could have nicked her. You know what I mean? I don't know why he did it at this point. There should have been some sort of ritual, magic spell, words said to call back his master, but we didn't get that. He just slit his throat and let him hang like a stuck pig.
Yeah, yeah. And, surely the blood would have stuck because the body's got loads of blood in it. It's got about 10 points in it. And surely it would have still dropped down on Dracula as he was coming to. But I thought, no, that transformation scene of Dracula coming from the ashes to actually Count Dracula, for its time, that was good special effects.
Yeah, well,
because
hang on, I'll just answer Michael's question first. This is the sequel to 1959's Dracula. So it's a direct sequel. They even do an intro, a recap of the final scene. And what they do at the same time is the retcon Brides of Dracula, because that movie was terrible. And the sort of hint that Kiss of the Vampires sort of part of it. It's part of his cult still alive. But this is basically a direct sequel to the 1959 one. But we don't have Peter Cushing as Van Helsing in it. But yeah, the scene, and also you don't need a VFX team when you have a fog machine. Like that fog machine was brilliant. That was really accurately aimed and puffed at the right times and everything.
Yeah. But just the way he changed into Dracula, I thought for the time that was a good. So you don't even get special effects like that today.
Oh God, they look awful. Like digital blood and CGI looks absolutely terrible.
It had elements of like when in American Werewolf when he turns into the werewolf and his hand like comes out
gradually going from dust, the bones, the flesh. The only thing that made me laugh was when his hand reaches out of the coffin and he has his signet ring on.
Yeah.
And like, okay, not only what did you do? Did you scoop up the signet ring in with the ashes? And how did it end up there and not somewhere else? Because I could think somewhere else that would end up. And Dracula may not be too happy about it.
Yeah.
I tell you who wouldn't be too happy about it was Nosferatu. If you've seen the size of that thing. Have you seen Nosferatu yet?
Yeah. The new one or the old one?
The new one.
No, I
right.
haven't seen the new one.
He has a prosthetic penis
for
a new suit, and I mean it's glorious.
Yeah,
you'll like it. I hope Bill Skarsgård kept that. That is a prop. You just said I'm keeping that. You have to. There's no if buts or maybes. If you have something like that made for you, you're keeping it. That's going in the mantelpiece, like pride of place.
Yeah.
For one scene, cutaway scene, blink and you miss it, sort of thing.
Hmm.
Uh,
I'm very much. I did like the old Nosferatu. I saw it
mhm.
years ago, and
Oh, it still holds up, like
it's
the silent
brilliant.
movie. The
Yeah,
obviously the 1921,
1922 on it, something like that.
21, 22.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's over 100 years
it's
old at this point.
class. And that the guy who plays, the vampire is scary as hell in that one.
Two things: when he's carrying the coffins, like he's
Mm,
carrying, even if they were balsa wood, that's some feat. And also the
yeah,
bit where the boat
yeah.
is gliding and he's just stand up perfectly straight.
Mm.
Um,
So is the new one sort of frame by frame remake or?
not frame by frame. It's definitely closer. It's the original one, not the 1970s.
Right.
The vampire Nosferatu, and they're basically he's a demon. Because the original Nosferatu, he wasn't a vampire.
No, it's a
He was a demon. He was a
demon.
conjured.
Yeah,
He was basically a servant of Belial.
yeah.
That was the whole point. It was, and Eggers really leans into that aspect of it. And
Mm.
there's, I don't want to spoil it, obviously, but there's demonology more than vampirism.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as they keep to the
I trust that Eggers is always delivered. Even if you're not fussed in the movie, like he's 7 movies now under his belt, and every one he's delivered.
yeah,
He's a trusted name as far as I'm concerned.
yeah. Which there aren't very many
They're
around.
not. He's a rare gem, and I hope they
Yeah.
don't burn him out.
Did you see I got told off by Dell for saying about M Night Shyamalan?
What, Chenny Bum?
Yeah,
Why?
because she put a post on saying what's your favourite
Oh, right,
um,
yes.
M Night Shyamalan film, and I said something like, "No, he's terrible" or something, and so in the end, I just put, "Oh, I like the trilogy on Unbreakable,"
mm. I
um,
haven't watched the other two.
and the
I've
third
watched
one,
Unbreakable, and that's it. I've
yeah,
felt no desire to see another one.
they're all right.
Yeah, not. It's just typical.
Um,
He goes on. He waffles too much, and honestly, after Old,
oh,
was Cameron and I reviewed
and
reviewed
After
Old.
Earth, don't forget After Earth.
Oh God, was that nah? No, but
Will Smith,
after yeah,
Will Smith and
Jaden Smith.
Jaden Smith, and they're making a sequel.
Oh
Well,
God, no.
they've made a sequel
Oh God.
just out this year. I
Oh
think
God.
Will Smith's desperate for
Oh.
money. And
Oh.
yeah, After Earth 2
Oh no.
is
I'll not be watching that anyway. But after Old, that was the final insult. I was like, I'm not watching another movie of his again. I'm done.
Michael. We don't like M Night Shyamalan.
Yeah,
Do we? Oh,
yeah, we're not Chenny Bum fans.
yeah,
Village was ugh. That was silly.
yeah,
That was a silly movie. Yeah, he just has a certain way his endings of movies and the dialogue he uses and some of the plot premise is just like, oh, what are you doing, man? Yeah.
yeah. Has he done a stupid one about the devil in the lift or something? Wasn't it? Was
I
that
don't
one?
I don't even keep honestly, if I see his name, I gloss over.
Yeah,
I just scroll on past. I don't even stop to take note. He's a non-entity to me. I
yeah.
don't even hate him. He's just a nothing. That's
He's,
it.
he's,
He's
he's producing as well. Do you remember I told you back along that I watched an absolutely terrible film, not knowing that he was involved and he was the producer. I can't remember what it was now, but
was that one with the
his
serial
daughter,
killer and
his,
the
daughter,
music
his
concert?
daughter was in it. His daughter
Yeah,
was in
the
it. Yeah,
serial killer and the music concert.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And she was a good singer because she actually did sing. And you check the list after, and
But
all the songs.
he had to put her front and center in more of the plot than what she needed to be, and
Yeah,
ruined her. Apart from what
yeah,
I heard, and nah, I just no interest. It seemed like a good premise, but as usual, Shiny Bum strikes again.
Yeah, you're right, Chris.
Yeah, that's it. He might start off with a good idea, but by the time he gets to the middle of the movie, he's burnt out and he just flounders and better rush to the end, tie us up and do something weird. Like I said, my last movie I watched of his was old, and I gave
He's
up. I couldn't anymore. I'm like, no, two-door sedan. Like when you call a character two-door sedan and you're being serious, it's like piss off.
Yeah, Chris, he's actually penciled in to be the director of the next trilogy on the Star Wars things that Disney are bringing out.
Can we not talk about the Starship, please?
Ridley Scott producing.
Yeah. Don't you leave Ridley alone? Ridley's the best director ever.
Yeah. Sixth Sense was all right.
He got away with that one, but even so,
Chris, what have Sixth Sense and Titanic got in common? I see dead people.
anyway, back to
back to
it's
Dracula, Prince
rewatchable.
of Darkness. Let's be serious.
Yes. Yeah, fog machine. That's all you need. Fog machine.
Fog machine.
Some effects, and like I said, the signet ring just made me laugh a bit. I'm like,
if you think how it was done, though, it must have taken one hell of a long time back then to actually go from the dust, then the fog, and gradually you saw the bit by bit it becoming a man or a vampire.
I like the fact that his clothes were all laid out neatly.
Yeah.
So they weren't going to do the contrived thing where he appeared fully dressed, like something. I would have been like a Bela Lugosi thing.
Yeah.
But they were showing the fact that he's going to busy appear naked and his clothes were all laid out. That's what the trunk was his clothes.
Apart from his ring.
Apart from his ring, which was in there and didn't end up in his ring because it could have done. That ring could have ended up anywhere. That's dodgy.
Yeah.
Like
because someone could have nicked it in
no, but I mean, there's no. It's not like he drew out a pattern. You know, he just dumped his ashes in the bottom out of the thing. So that ring could have ended up anywhere. Like that could have went wrong.
Or in the previous film, Peter Cushing could have gone, "Oh, I remember that."
Yeah.
In my pocket that goes, because that would have happened if in today's world, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but
it would be on eBay tomorrow.
Yeah.
Dracula's ring as worn by the vampire.
Yeah. But I just wish Clove had done a ritual of some sort.
Yeah.
An incantation or something that would have made sense of the, and even when he gave us, if he had met them,
said something and then cut his throat and used
or read out as the blood was coming down.
Yeah.
That, and if he had met them at the door and said, well, now we're at the 10th anniversary, the moon's at this phase, it's a special night. We always welcome guests at this time of year because it's a special, it doesn't have to be like super in depth, but just to give us a wee bit of a hint of why this is happening at this time.
Yeah.
But we get Dracula back and Clove goes upstairs and wakes Helen up. He says,
come down for your husband.
Go down for your husband. I'll wake the others.
Yeah. Oh, go down this dark stairwell to see your husband. Oh, yeah, sure. Let him come up to me. I don't want to go down there.
Yeah, but then obviously Helen goes down, then we'll see Dracula, and then we'll do the famous eyes.
Poor Michael. No, Michael, he's not. It's a joke between me and Chris. Because we hate M. Night Shyamalan films.
Yeah, that's your punishment, Star Wars fans.
Chris loves Star Wars, so I joke around with him saying, right, M. Night Shyamalan's going to direct Star Wars. So he's not directing Star Wars.
Those poor people have already had, like, I feel sorry for Star Wars fans. Like, they're not having an easy time of it. And they still hang on. Like that is tragic.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get Helen, so she's got bit, getting turned. Maybe she'll cheer up.
Mm.
Here's the bit I don't get. So we have, God, I'm trying to remember his bloody name now. We've got Diana and her hubby. Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Diana Allen, is it?
Alan. No, Alan was the one that got uh,
Charles.
Charles. Right. Okay. Yes. They sort of get up the next morning, and this is where the plot gets a wee bit contrived because Charles goes away, and Cove picks Diana up and takes her by carriage back to the castle again, or to the
Yeah.
other side of the castle. Like, what happened
Yeah.
there? Did he do like a circle and come back?
But he left her at the bloody cabin, didn't he? Well, why didn't he take her that little bit further down to the village?
Yeah.
It's 2 kilometers away. In a carriage, it would have took all of what, a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
The log cabin at the scene where, well, that's where it all started, wasn't it?
Yeah. Cove comes to pick her up. It was almost like he took her and went round in circles again and came back, and just to get them back in the castle again. It just, I don't know. He must have been maybe. I know Terence Fisher didn't write it, but the writers must have been
Jimmy
having a
Sank.
bad day.
Yeah.
But if, oh dear, we need more plot. What do we do? Yeah,
Just
but
put her in the log cabin just to take her back.
yeah,
Bit of a silly thing. Yeah.
but the plot has to happen, I suppose.
Yeah.
So they all end up back, and Helen meets her and tries to turn her over, and then
See, I'll tell you what I would have done with the body that was cut the neck.
yeah,
What's it called?
Alan's.
Alan's. I would have had it taken down by Clove and dumped under the ice that Dracula died in. Dumped in the water there, and then when it iced over, Dracula went down. He would have been amongst all the bodies that they'd killed.
I just felt a bit. They were struggling. This is where the movie sort of struggles a bit because, right, we get the setup. We're waiting for Christopher Lee to come back as Dracula.
Yeah.
And then we get nothing.
Yeah. Until the end of the last sort of third of the film, or not even a third of the film. Sort of last quarter.
Was he not allowed to speak or something? Like,
why didn't he have any dialogue?
Welcome to my home. Your brothers brought me back to life. Or, you could have that. I'm not just going around going. And Helen's enticing Diana in, and then he shoves her to the side because he wants to bite her. And then it just gets silly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a waste.
Yeah. But had you heard of the story about killing a vampire by running water?
They're not meant to be able to cross running water. That was the lore. Vampires can't cross running water. That's one of the older.
That's why he was shooting the ice, and
yeah,
he can. Yeah.
So they've taken that bit off.
That one.
But then again, how was Dracula able to get on the Demeter? Because I'm pretty sure an ocean counts as running water.
Yeah.
But it is one of the old folklores that they can't cross. Bodies of running water, so that they brought that in, and they really did it haphazardly.
Yeah.
How much would it have taken for seeing they had a monk They like bless a cross, chuck it in the water, and turn it into holy water or something. Whatever they do. So that was his barrier, and then they shoot the ice so he couldn't cross it. They could have done that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because also, why on earth would Dracula have a boat around his castle?
Yeah.
That meant he'd never be able to leave the castle.
No. No. And did you notice that he went out at one point and it was light outside?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Well, I think they sort of have it. I tell you what, they do it better here. They're sort of used in Twilight. You know, the sun. It's not direct sunlight.
Yeah.
They do it a lot better here than Kindred of the Embraced.
Yeah.
If you watch that absolute shit show when they're doing
Yeah.
stuff in broad daylight as vampires, and you're sort of going, huh? Really? Nobody can afford a lens filter for their camera to even pretend it's
Yeah.
Twilight? Yeah, I could forgive a lot of things of this movie because I've seen some other dog shit that they're not even trying.
No, I never heard of it either, Chris.
Now I'm going to have to fucking look
Vampires
it up.
can't cross running water. What if they fly in bat form? Yeah.
See, I don't think it's from this. The vampire Bram Stoker created Dracula from different folklore. It's not, you know what I mean? The vampire's not just the one. It was coalesced into Bram Stoker's Dracula, but it's crossing water. Right. There's that. Just a quick wiki doodle do. So traditional European lore, your vampires cannot cross running water. Ultimately, the reason behind this is like that running water is seen as clean, and the unclean being such as a vampire. So, yeah, Dracula is a culmination. So yeah, that's the old myth of various creatures, but this is based on Bram Stoker's work, which he took, you know, because at the end of the day, there's no original stories. We'll all take something from something. It's making it in your own, and that's what Bram Stoker did. He took various folklores and tales and the aspects of them. He just sort of combined them together. What they've done here is they've sort of looked and went, all right, we need to do something a bit different because we've done the sunlight thing, and we've done the magic ritual thing, and we've done the stake through the heart thing. So what else can we do?
Yeah.
But once again, it doesn't make sense. You wouldn't have your castle then surrounded by a moat.
No.
You'd have channeled that off.
Yeah. You'd drain it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I don't think the nerd had been invented yet in the 60s.
No.
Yeah, if God, imagine being a movie maker in the 60s and having to encounter people like us. You'd be screwed. You'd never make anything again.
Yeah. We go to all the preview screenings and go, no,
wagging our fist. That's all wrong. That's not right. Oh, hold on a minute. No, it was 1951. They stopped making witchcraft illegal. So would it might have been okay then? Because if you had said, "No, that's not right," you'd have been accused of witchcraft and thrown in the clink.
Yeah.
Which was still a thing, even though it was like the illegality of it was still frowned upon. You know, you'd find yourself in hot water to get you for something. Yeah, that strange fight scene where Charles picks up a sword off the wall and
oh, did you see it? When it snapped, you could tell it was like either rubber or wood or something like that. And, yeah.
But Christopher Lee himself was quite handy with a sword.
Yeah.
It would have been just good for him to just pick one up and just disarm him.
But
and have some fucking dialogue. You know, just be a complete master.
the actual sword was in the shape of a cross. So when he grabbed it, why didn't the cross
Yeah, but that was, remember that was the
handle?
original, that was the Knights Templar thing, that the hilt
Yeah,
was the shape of a cross, because that's what they did
yeah,
during the Crusades. But it was supposed to be one of his antique swords on his wall, and he just,
yeah. So why
he's
didn't it
not a
have an
good
effect
character
on
in
him?
this.
Because it was a
Yeah.
crucifix shape.
But when they did it that way, it turned into a different, like, almost pagan symbol, didn't it? Stopped being
Yeah,
a cross, it became something else.
but
Almost became a rune.
when it snapped, it was, oh my god! You can see it bent, like a piece of rubber, and because that's what they used to use, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
Rubber
Yeah,
swords.
he was a lot of things. He was not somebody to mess about with.
Yeah,
But for this, all I had to do was have him pick up the other sword and say something and
yeah,
just disarm Charles immediately. And show that he's completely powerless. What they
yeah.
actually showed here, that didn't show Dracula. They didn't show the power of Dracula. In fact, he was more like one of the vampires he turned,
Mm.
and the strength, it didn't show his strength, because there's no way they were throwing each other about and so forth. I just felt a bit cheated.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you had paid back then to see a Christopher Lee film and Christopher Lee wasn't in it, you would have gone, "Oh,
Yeah,
you wasn't in that very
but maybe
much."
back then that was enough. It was enough for me as a
You
kid.
don't know. Yeah, you don't know. Mm. Yeah,
The carrying people like this business, in their arms, that has to be the most inefficient, tiring way to carry someone.
yeah.
Not do over the shoulder back then.
You've got, and you've got to be pretty strong to carry
Yeah, I was
someone.
like, they're getting
Mm.
dropped 5 meters
Yeah,
away.
fireman's carry would have been.
Yeah, just over the shoulder, away you go.
Your shoulders are really stronger, aren't they?
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, good. That wasn't happening. And then we get this whole. It actually made a bit when they got to the monastery, or when they met the monk again. It sort of got back on track. It seemed to be better when they're talking about Dracula than actually facing Dracula.
Yeah. But
And
they weren't very hospitalistic, were they? When because they didn't know clove like that,
mm,
and he banged on the door and went, "Yeah, I'd like to stay here." Oh, sorry, and we've been told no one can come in. You can sit there and have some food if you want.
well, the fact that they got offered food,
But he had a truck that he could have slept in anyway,
yeah.
But,
But yeah, Castle Dracula, they have a whole fleet because they got away in the other wagon, and it broke. The horses took off. Then he has this other wagon with different horses. Like, there's a whole fleet of stables and different wagons and carriages and stuff. Because that's the third wagon we've seen.
yeah, yeah. Where did he keep them all?
Yeah, as I said, it must be like a garage, I could picture like the back cave and the flipping thing turning around. I shall take this one today. Rising up. Where you go.
Perhaps he was a millionaire and whereas back, these days they have all these classic cars. Perhaps they
Yeah,
have
he had all the classic
carriages.
wagons and his spirited horses for each one.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it just made you go, what the hell? But
Hmm.
Clove doesn't look suspicious at all turning up. And then the bit that gets me was they found out they're sneaking in, and this is where we meet Ludwig, and he's basically Renfield Jr., if you know what I mean, the bargain
Yeah,
basement Renfield.
yeah.
I don't know why they just didn't call him Renfield. Like, Bram Stoker's credited as a writer in this, so I don't think it's a copyright issue.
No.
But anyway, yeah, we get that whole scene with him and Diana, and Charles is going to fight the creature, so Diana needs to go home, all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But when they discover Helen tries to sneak in,
Hmm.
and they capture her. They then
Yeah.
have the clever idea, I know, we'll go and set the crosses in the coffins. That'll stop them. Did they forget that Clove is not a vampire and can just take them out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
You
huh?
can.
But they didn't get the scene of them trying to get into the coffin.
No.
They cut that bit out because surely there would have been a scene of them trying to get in, seeing the crosses are not being able to do it, and Clove just going, yoink, right, problem solved. It's like it never happened.
No.
Oh dear. Yeah, and then we see the Helen getting dispatched.
Yeah.
But once again, I'm not here to see Helen. I'm not here to see Clove.
You see Christopher Lee.
I'm here to see Christopher Lee as
Rooting for
Dracula.
Christopher Lee, really, isn't it?
We've had 2 scenes, and he's in them barely 30 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, when he goes in next to Anna, kicks the door open and disappears.
Do you think that they nicked scenes from another Dracula movie? Because all you saw was his red eyes, and
I don't know.
did he not have the time to film the whole film? But he said, "Oh, you know,
He must have just turned up for a day's shoot or something, and it just got his scenes, and that was it.
You know, bits of it, because all you saw was bits of it was his face up to there with red eyes, which he's used before.
Yeah, there's
Perhaps
something strange.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it the fact that Peter Cushing wasn't in this and he was acting with him in another 2 films? So he's like, yeah, well, I'll act with my friend, thank you, rather than doing this.
Going down the road to the next studio and then back and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all very strange, and and then with the fact that they leave Ludwig, they know he's dangerous and can turn, they leave him with a hammer and chisel so he can chisel out the bars of his cell and call it to his master and invite them in. Like, you didn't see that coming a mile off.
No. And the Americans won't get this joke, but where did Daleks originate from? Exeter, mate. Exeter, mate.
Oh, God. I need a wah, wah, wah button.
I thought you had one.
No, I've only got... This is all just positive, fluffy things. People need to buy more copies of Horrific Tales Volume 1 so I can buy more toys for this.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. And you need to go to the merch store. You need to buy some stuff. You just need to use the affiliate links.
Okay.
Do all the things.
20% off, isn't it?
15. If you use the code HORRORific.
Okay.
And if you're signed up to the email list, you would know that because it's the bottom of each email.
I thought it said 10 on the website. On bottom of your thingamajigs.
I'll need to double check it then. I could have sworn I'd put 15. These things are important, Chris. Do you know what I mean? I have never asked. Here's the thing. This thing costs me money, right? I am never going to make anything from this. And it's not going to my back pocket because the minute I get something, it's going to be spent on something for the podcast. I need a new microphone because this thing's getting a wee bit ropey on it. Need a new desk because this is just about enough space to move. And I need a soundboard. I need a proper soundboard, so do, because I don't want a USB microphone anymore. I want a proper plug-in interface. Because I've got my eye on a Rouge SM7B. I want one of those. But yeah, these things are important. But yeah, I'm
thinking you need a big stick. Yeah, I'd enjoy a big stick though, wouldn't
I? You'd have too much of a good time.
Yeah.
I'll see if Bill Skarsgård's finished with his appendage. Beat you with that.
Yeah.
Oh dear, how to get banned off YouTube in like a few sentences. But yeah, Helen, they're sneaking into the abbot or whatever that is, and oh, could you picture me with a fog machine? I would go off at the wrong time and just like right in the face. I would have it
I
here or something. I'd just be like,
I had one at Plymouth Social Club,
mm-hmm.
and the chemical that I bought made the dance floor slippery. Right? And all the people were dancing and slipping.
Oh man, you're
I
a
remember
disaster.
that. I thought, oh shit! So I had to stop using it. And yeah, and I had a smoke machine that set off the fire alarm in the RAOB club.
They're dodgy things.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah.
You can get the home ones and stuff, but they're dicey. But yeah, the whole scene in the abbotry or whatever you call it, big church thing.
Yeah.
It was a bit haphazard and borderline comedic.
Yeah.
Like
And it's
Ludwig, he knows Kirk Fu, the double-handed, boom, and you're just like, oh no, William Shatner would be proud.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's why was he there? You know, why would they were just letting him out? You know,
I think it's part of the plot hole. I think they're trying to fill the gap between the first Dracula, Kiss of the Vampire, and trying to tie it all together. That cult was still running about. They're trying to tie it, that this is the aftermath of that cult getting broken up, and trying to tie those three movies together.
yeah,
And didn't work.
no,
Just
possibly not.
then again, they've got away with it. Like the return on investment for this movie is
Oh
ridiculous.
yeah,
So
I
they
mean,
got away
people
with
must
it
have gone
for
to see it.
it, it's
Because if
only 80
you
odd
think,
years later than
you think of the cost of a cinema ticket back then, it's
70
was
years
it,
later that
you know,
we were picking up on it, going, "Hey, did you notice?" Nobody
yeah,
has.
no.
That's not bad. That's not bad going, is it?
But did you notice how they got from the monastery to the
That
back
was
to
the
the
word I was
castle?
looking for. Fuck's
No
sake, it was
time at
straight.
all.
Yeah,
Yeah. He says, "Oh, it's miles away." Yeah, zoom, we're there.
yeah.
Yeah, and
They cut him off at the pass and stuff,
yeah,
and it was a bit ridiculous.
yeah,
And then the very end where he's on the ice because all of a sudden it's winter. No hint of winter at all.
no, it's just the same right
Yeah,
throughout the movie, isn't it?
yeah. No,
No one actually, because if you look at the clothes the four English people were wearing, they weren't like winter clothes like that.
no.
Because
It
in
was
fact, the girl was sat in the pub with just her blouse on,
yeah.
and yes, they were sat
And
next to the fire, but
this is a walking holiday.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Right.
Going back to that, when the monk priest, whatever he deemed, went into the pub and he wanted to warm his backside, I thought, oh my god, he's going to pull that up and not have anything underneath
Yeah.
him.
It was going to be like a
I
no.
thought, oh my god, what's happening here? But he did. He had something underneath. But
Yeah. I
yeah,
think it was a bit. That was
that
the
was
thing
the
as
only.
well. The
That was the
other
only
bad.
hint. That was the only hint that it was a code spell. Really, was him warming himself. Yeah.
But if you're out at night in the out in the fields, and the forest, you're going to get cold anyway, even in the summer.
Would you guys agree that it is easy to tell when a studio seems to make a film just to make a few bucks?
Oh, cash grabs? Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. I think when you've got what was that film I told you they made number 2 of 1988 was the first. Oh, Alligator, wasn't it? I texted you the other day. It was just called Alligator.
Mm-hmm.
And they made number 1, and it wasn't a brilliant film, but they made number 2 3 years later, and it was absolutely appalling. And I
Oh
think
yeah,
that was probably a cash grab.
yeah. I like the first one. The first one at least had a bit of a, they're experimenting
Yeah,
with growth hormones, with the, you know, animal testing, and just took the bodies in the sewer, and of course a gator got flushed down the toilet, and
yeah, yeah.
events. It actually made sense, but it was.
It was quite an original thing, really.
Mhm.
But the second one was appalling.
Where are my cast? Right,
They catch on.
Father Sandor. Is that him?
Yeah, Father Sandor.
Yeah, Father Sandor. Yeah, because the other one's just a priest. Yeah,
Yeah,
Father Sandor. Yeah, he's not a character, but yeah, this just screams of a sequel for the making a sequel. But I just felt cheated. I really did, because Christopher Lee was not shown in the best light here.
no,
I mean, he did what he was meant to
he
do,
didn't
but
have any lines, did he? And and it's his lines that set up the sort of feeling for
yeah,
it being a vampire film, because you expect him to be the host of anyone who's coming to his castle.
mhm,
And then you expect the attack afterwards, don't you?
yeah,
He gets them into his, false sense of security, really, and then gets them afterwards. But like he did in the others, but
mhm.
this one, Clove tried to get them into this false sense of security,
He was
and
more of a Dracula than Dracula himself in this one.
yeah, and like I said, if Clove had tried to get me into a false sense of security like that, I would have done
It'll
a
have
run
the opposite
around.
effect.
Yeah, because you would have just thought, "Oh my God, what have I got myself into here?" But it was the same old case, wasn't it? Oh yeah, you can stay here. Yeah, I've put your bags in the room, sort of thing. Oh yeah, complete stranger's house. I know. I'll stay here.
The UK cinema version was cut by the BBFC with edits to blood flows during the resurrection scene.
Right.
The close-up shot of Helen staking and shortening the seduction scene, where Dracula pulls a hypnotized. Oh yeah, where he cuts his chest, because that's part of the lore. Is it's not the
Yeah,
vampire draining of you; it's you drinking the vampire's blood.
yeah,
I was watching the cutscene then, because I just couldn't get over the fact that the body's hanging there and you don't see a drop of blood. Like,
right.
switch,
I must have seen the full thing then, because I saw practically everything on the copy I was watching.
yeah, it must have been because I've obviously watched the wrong version.
Yeah.
But edited from, so they've used cutscenes from Dracula, 1958's Dracula. Christopher
That's
Lee
what I
must have been
said, wasn't
busy.
it?
He
That's what I said. When you saw his face,
yeah.
you got that in the original Dracula was with his red eyes and
Yeah, and the
everything.
same as this has been made. No wonder the budget's so small for this.
Yeah,
This
it's
has
bits and
been
pieces of other films.
Frankenstein together
Yeah,
from old footage,
yeah, yeah,
and it's been a cash grab. It's been 100% cash grab.
yeah,
Like Michael says, that it's glaring you in the face, and
yeah,
Christopher Lee's hardly in it. Like, he may as well not have bothered. May as well
yeah,
just been Clove.
yeah. Because you don't actually see. Yeah, it's like you said. It's probably a day's filming for Christopher Lee. He was probably busy on other things, and they said, "Oh well,
He was acting in 2 movies with his friend
yeah,
for another
we'll
studio.
we'll just use the bits and pieces that we got from his other movies, his facial expressions and stuff like that."
Yeah.
Be nice to go back and watch it again to see if his clothing is the same, or if there's problems with. Oh, I mean, it's an entertaining Dracula film.
Like I said, it was one of the ones that's always stuck
I'm
with me as a
I'm
kid.
I'm a big fan of the very first one with Christopher
Yeah.
Lee in 1958, and I think because it sort of even though you had Bela Lugosi's Dracula back in the 30s and 40s, and this one sort of introduced the blood gore really
Mm-hmm.
of Christopher Lee in the
Yeah, more
old
of a sinister.
scary bit where he puts his cloak. He did that, didn't he?
Yeah,
In this one, he did the old cloak bit. Yeah,
yeah.
because imagination is a big part of horror. You imagine, and back then, to imagine what was going on behind that cloak was scary. You think, oh my
Yeah, and
god,
that's it. Your mind fills in the blanks.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I said, this is one of my more memorable ones as a kid. But
yeah,
like I said, when you come in with a reviewer's head on,
yeah.
you just can't not switch it off. Like it's a
See what's
door.
happening.
If anyone, I'll warn you now out there, if you ever decide to become a reviewer, it's a one-way street. Once you switch that part of your brain on, it's not going off.
You
You
see things
you
in a different light.
you just don't look at movies the same way or books or anything.
Mm,
You're looking, you're going through that critical eye and you're looking for certain things and you're weighing it up and you're looking for the plot and where it falls down.
mm,
It's a blessing and a curse because you definitely get more out of a movie.
mm.
Like there's no just zoning out, just watching a movie for the sake of it. Like you're in, so you're getting more out of your time. But yeah,
But
this is
you also like me get to notice mistakes, just like because you look for them,
mhm.
or I do.
Yeah, that's it. Not your thing. That's
Yeah, that's that.
yep. We have the Plague of the Zombies next,
Ah,
and
one of
that's
those zombie films.
it's Hammer's only zombie movie.
Hmm. So Did they think, oh my god, it hasn't done that well?
I could have sworn who's in this.
It's a like,
Dennis Chimney, Peter Diamond's in it. George Holcott.
1966 again.
Yep.
Oh, Andre Morel. He was in one of the others, wasn't he, that we did? Yeah.
Holy Shroud, Sunday the Moon. He was in the original, the Lord of the Rings animated film.
Yeah.
Did he play Gandalf?
Huh?
Did he voice Gandalf? I think he might have.
Yeah.
Ben-Hur, he's in Ben. I was talking to somebody about that. When they were somebody's buying a figurine Roman chariot, and I'm like, you have to watch Ben-Hur. You can't have a Roman chariot in your house unless you go to watch Ben-Hur. And people hadn't heard of it. I'm like,
yeah, we watched Ben-Hur. Charlton Heston.
Yeah, it's like,
God.
How do you not know this?
Charlton Heston was the man.
You know when you instantly show your age?
Yeah.
You know when you just say something and you instantly show how old you are? And it's like, oh shit. Oops.
Yeah. My old favourites back then were the Guns and Avalon.
Yeah.
Where Eagles Dare.
Oh, he did the Bridge in the River Kwai as well. And how did the Basketballs?
That was a class film.
Yeah.
Alec Guinness. Yeah.
That was one of his first movies, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was the one that made him. Made him as an actor.
Yeah, we know you do, Chris. Chris's crazy theories.
Yeah, and sometimes he has to put some of the crap we watch. He puts more effort in than the actual production thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there we go. We're doing a zombie movie next. So that'll be cool.
If you want to do a zombie movie, just look at Coe first thing in the mornings. He'll kill me for that.
You're on the sofa tonight.
I'll tell you what. At the moment,
Orio's going into your spot. You're in the sofa.
I'd have more room on the bloody sofa. What with Oreo? She gets in between us, and then with her legs, she pushes like that, as if to say, "Get out!" You know. And when Oreo comes up, it's usually about 2:00 in the morning when she's cold, and you get her snoring. She snores. It snorts. I think, oh my god, I'm trying to get to sleep here. Shut up.
God, when I had Chaz, he was a pit bull, and that would just come up, ear, the nose right in the ear, snort, and the paw would just go there, and that would be it. And you couldn't move. I never thought it possible for a dog to actually grip you. Like you're not moving anywhere. Doink.
Yeah. Never seen that one, but big fan of anything zombie.
Yeah, I don't remember. That's the thing about this. Since we've started this journey along the Hammer horror ones, there's so many movies that we haven't seen. And it's actually a bit of a job to find them. I
haven't seen this. I haven't seen this Plague of the Zombies.
No,
not at all.
I mean, there's loads of movies we haven't seen now, and we're halfway through. We've got 31 movies left.
Yeah.
To finish, we've gone rightly through them, and yeah, out of them all, we'll remember the classics, but still, there's so many movies that were Hammer horror, and this isn't the full repertoire of Hammer Studios, because Hammer did the Voyage of Sinbad, they did all the Sherlock Holmes ones that Peter Cushing starred in. They've done tons of movies. They've done loads of thrillers and comedies, and it was a powerhouse of movie making.
Yeah,
Hammer back in the day was the equivalent of Warner Brothers and Paramount combined. They were massive powerhouse.
No, they made more than 31.
Try 64. We're
horror films.
Oh, horror, yeah.
64 horror films.
64 horror films. But they have made hundreds of movies. Look up Peter Cushing, Sherlock Holmes. They're Hammer.
And then they had a TV series of 1 hour programs.
Yeah, the Hammer House of Horror. Cameron and I covered those right at the beginning of this podcast. That was one of the first things we covered.
Yeah, you could say Hammer nailed it in the 60s.
That was a demo. But there you go. Yeah, absolutely massive for back in the day. Hammer was movies.
Yeah,
that was it.
Totally.
Studios and Pinewood Studios were movies. Hollywood was second fiddle.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't have had the crap that you get today, would you?
Well, but don't forget, we've seen just as many misses as hits.
Oh yeah, but these days they plod them out, don't they?
But that's the last 15 years of movie making. It's just become the complete stagnation.
Yeah.
But we're due I do genuinely. That's one thing why I plug independent creators on this channel. I do believe independent creators get away from the fast food factory. It's the equivalent of getting away from the fast food chains and opening your own restaurant.
Yeah,
there's more risk, slightly more expensive, but you have a better experience. I think we need to go back to that. Get rid of the sort of branded sludge, the business.
Yeah.
No, Michael, we have 31 horror films left to do out of the 60. We're more than halfway there. We have been at this for a while. There's a whole playlist on the channel, Hammer Horror, and you can go through the other 20 odd movies we've covered at this point. We've been doing this for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abbott and Costello. Yeah. Abbott and Costello versus the werewolf.
Shay wants me to come on. I'm waiting for that. I'm going to be going on Shay's channel to do Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. So keep an eye out for that. Once we'll get that nailed down, I'll be over in Shay Rant's channel That's I promised him to do that. Actually, you should come along as well.
What's that? Abbott and Costello.
Yeah.
Do like Abbott. And I tell you, and I know it's not horror, but the old Charlie Chaplin films.
They were great.
Fantastic.
When not the dramatization, but the actual documentary of Charlie Chaplin. I think he was one of the first actors, or made one of the first documentaries, didn't he?
Did you know he was a composer of music? He used to write all the music for his films. One of his well-renowned pieces was called Eternally, and fantastic piece of music. And if you look at the notes that are in it and the chords, the musicians of today just wouldn't know how to play them. I struggle playing them because they're just so difficult to play. But yeah, if you look at Charlie Chaplin, he was a renowned composer of music, and he used to compose all the music for his own films. So he had the money coming in there. Yeah.
23. Don't play me, earhole. Right, folks, there is the link to the playlist. So if you want to go through all previous Hammer horror movies that we've done, 23 so far, this will be 24 once I added to the list.
Yeah.
With 31 to go. Like this is going to be an achievement. I'll be so once we get to the end, we will be confused.
Another year.
Another year's worth of reviews. All going well, no breaks or anything.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't do Hitchcock, because he has made 275 movies at this time. Yeah. So we thought, nah, that would take a while to get through.
Yeah. We'd be sat here like skeletons at the end of it.
Yeah, just
yeah.
And that's not even covering his TV work. That's just his movies. That man was a powerhouse. You don't see that. That's the thing. You don't see that today. The only person today is even remotely like that's Jackie Chan.
Yeah, but he does all his own stunts as well, doesn't he?
And he's a movie-making machine. He's like 3-4 films on it to go. You couldn't keep up with his back catalogue. That would be a collection process in itself. He probably doesn't even have all his movies.
No.
Like that's not a serious collection.
No, I do like Jackie Chan. Cole don't like him.
I
do like Jackie Chan.
Is he into more serious, or is he not a martial arts fan?
He don't mind a little bit of horror, but yeah.
Jackie Chan isn't horror. I don't think
he watches junk most of the time. He'll sit there watching TV.
What was it? The Hong Kong Ghost Story? I think Jackie Chan's only done one horror movie.
Yeah.
But there's another tangent.
Yeah, very, very true, Michael. It was. I think it was one of the very
fantasy mission.
It laid the foundations for films in general. I think the 1922, and the other one that was good was All Quiet on the Western Front, which was I think 1920, 1918 was it?
It wasn't the one with the.
Not the new one. The old one
with what's his face that played John Boy at the Waltons, because that was Eric Braun.
1930. Had Lou Ayres in it. Yeah, it was the original, and that was another one that sort of laid the foundations for filmmaking. It's a very classy film, but
Fantasy Mission Force and Blades of the King. That's only sort of remotely horror, but he generally doesn't do that. So yeah, but there you go. That was a good one.
I think it all depends what you deem as horror, isn't it? Because
but that's been the discussion of this channel, hasn't it? Like, where do things where does it cross the line?
Because
And I don't think any of us have a definitive answer
if
because
you look at the film, the new film, All Quiet on the Western Front, even down as far as Saving Private Ryan, when you got legs blown off and stuff like that, is that horror? Because they call it the horror of war, don't they?
yeah,
You know, and yeah,
like we had that discussion during the highly sensitive people
yeah,
discussion we had. Horror is described, the definition of horror is something that creates an unnerving or uncomfortable feeling
yeah,
while experiencing it. So that really is a very broad term. So you can have guts and gore in action movies and it just being absolutely silly.
yeah,
Movies can have a horror element to it, but not be a horror movie. They can just cross the line that bit, but not enough. So it's all about how much of the movie crosses that line, what's the theme, and
yeah,
intensity. Horror can have different intensities. So you can have a really lighthearted, fun horror movie.
yeah.
Comedy horror, for example, can be really lighthearted and fun and not very
Yeah.
gory at
Like
all, or it can
Carry
be
On
gory.
Screaming. Carry
Yeah,
On Screaming was a
there you go. But
laugh,
that's
wasn't
still a horror movie because it's supernatural beings and that there. But then
it? Yeah,
Underworld's an example where they changed horror into an action movie.
yeah.
That
That
scenes.
Frankenstein's Army. Remember that one?
Oh,
Was
gee,
it
that was terrible. That was just
terrible,
shit.
wasn't it?
That was
And that
bad.
was about making monsters in World War Two, wasn't it?
But I was talking about that during an interview. When I was interviewing Katie, I mentioned that movie. I was like, somebody was trying to say why found footage is good, and I'm like, no, it's fucking not. And I present to you Frankenstein's Army, the most disappointing, horrible
Yeah, I can't believe you made
excuse.
me watch that. Yeah,
Right, keep an eye. Yeah, we're about to wrap up, but keep an eye on the upcoming streams. I put all our upcoming streams get put on the channel and they go in the newsletter. Give
yeah.
everybody a chance to watch the movies before we come on, so you can all be part of it. So
Hmm.
once I'm done with this'll go on the upcoming streams. The next one, Plague of the Zombies. So check it out, and I'll put a link usually if I can find it where you can pick it up. I'll stick a link in the description.
Yeah.
There you go.
Plague of Zombies.
We'll be doing that. There you go. Yeah,
There we
thanks
go.
everyone for turning up. It's great to see so many is in the chat now
Yeah.
and engaging and chatting and talking to each other as well as us. That's what I've always been looking for. So you're really bringing a life to the channel and I love it. So thanks very much.
Yeah. Cheers, Michael. Nice to speak to you.
Yep. And Chris and
Cheers,
Flea and
Chris.
everyone else. I see you up at the top as well that are lurking. You can say hello too.
Yeah.
So
Hello.
always welcome.
Is it me you're looking for? My computer. Every time I open it up, it plays "Rolling in the Deep." I thought, oh, must be a Dell.
Oh God, right. On that, time to go. Right, everyone. Thanks.
Bye.
Keep updated with the channel, do the types of things, and remember to keep it creepy, keep it horrific.